The final segment in Drag 96, the kings of the sport, top fuel racers. Opening race, Pomona. Blaine Johnson, wheels in the air in qualifying. This one looked good. It was good. A national record, 4.66 seconds. Blaine Johnson has tied the national record at 4.66. I don't think anybody expected that on this racetrack.
Wow, the conditions out here are excellent. You know, Alan's just making all the horsepower he can possibly get, and the track is holding it this week. It's going to be awesome.
It would be Connie Coletta, Scott Coletta. Connie hadn't beaten the kid since 1994. Connie's been doing this for a while. His first win at the old Coliseum against Charlton Heston. That's how long he's been racing. Gets the win, wasn't pretty, but he goes to the semis.
A little fire has never bothered Connie Glenn. I think he kind of likes him, actually. This was Connie versus TJ Jr., Tommy Johnson in the semis. And Connie, without the fire, still wins at 488-285.
Connie would move into the championship round opposite Blaine Johnson. Connie in his 21st top fuel final in a storied career.
And Blaine was looking to make it 2 in a row. Pomona, he won his first race in October of 95. Connie destroys another one, but it's Blaine Johnson with the win at 473 to take the early top fuel points.
Into Phoenix in the Atco Nationals. The desert, an unlikely place to see some spectacular runs. But watch this. This might be the run of the year.
I believe it is the run of the year. Kenny Bernstein far side. The wheels are in the air. Finally, they touch down. 3 different times Bernstein thought about aborting.
I just carried it, Steve, forever and ever and ever, and it was stuck there, and I went, please stay, please stay. And then when the front end came down, it smoked the front tires.
Who would have thought he would set the national record, 20 bonus points at Phoenix? Not me.
Semifinals, Scott Coletta, Corey McClanathan, the Mickey D's cars, been out of the winner's circle for a while. And how about these numbers? 478, 297. Corey Mack would go against Big Red for all the marbles, and it's not going to be easy to stop Kenny Bernstein.
Bernstein, rather than getting greedy, trying to improve on that record, had a solid combination. Corey Mack overpowered the track. KB slugged out a 470 at 305.
I quit counting after a while. It's been so long, but I can't say enough for the team. The guys worked so hard all winter long, and certainly this whole weekend by all means.
There's the points chase as Blaine Johnson out in front by just 4 over KB.
Way to go, you guys.
Yes,
Hugs all around. Gainesville, Florida, the site of Kenny Bernstein's historic 300-mile-an-hour run back in 1992 in the semis up against Scott Coletta.
You would say the quickest side-by-side run ever was. How'd you like to be Bernstein? He ran a 473. He's out of here. Scott runs 472, goes to the finals.
And watch this final round. You will never forget it, especially the car in the near lane, Scott Coletta. Up, 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 and over backwards. A blow over. Blaine Johnson, not wanting to become part of the crash, almost forgets to win the race.
Scott would get out okay. After that wild ride, Blaine Johnson wins the race with the slowest winning time ever. He was so slow, if he had run in super gas, he'd have lost. Scott Coletta, not happy that his car did not go into the winner's circle. That is some competitive team.
Blaine Johnson hangs on to the points lead, 294 to Bernstein's close, 248. Scott Coletta looking for that 3rd title, but on this day, he was just glad he was all in one piece. So his wife, Kathy.
A great crowd on hand at the Slick 50 Nationals in Houston, a notoriously fast racetrack.
Scott Coletta against Joe Amato in the semifinals. Amato, who had been having a miserable couple of years. 470 at 308 miles an hour. Boy, were they rooting for the yellow car in the near lane, the Texan Eddie Hill.
Against another Texan, Kenny Bernstein. Big Red's been tough. The Pennzoil car hangs in there, but at the far end, too much. Dale Armstrong power, 466, 307 miles an hour, and there is the aforementioned Dale Armstrong into the finals. He would go against Joe Amato, who's winless since Seattle of 94.
Amato a red light. It looked like the wheels came straight up out of the beams instead of rolling forward. Bernstein pedaled it and ran 466. Kenny Bernstein, you not only won the race, you reset your own national record at 4.663. Bonus points.
Hard to believe that could happen. I can't say enough for the team. Dale, Ray, Bob Brooks and the whole team as hard as they work. And Amato, man, he's tough up there, I'll tell you, all the time.
Couple of war horses had a good time.
I thought we had better chance. We went out and played golf for this deal, but you know.
That's what we do in a week or so, isn't it?
Yeah, in a week or so. Yeah, we'll have some fun. But at least we got to the finals.
Absolutely.
It was a good race.
They love playing golf, and for Bernstein, a 460 turned out to be pretty much par for the course this year. He takes over the points lead.
And that golf game they talked about happened on Thursday in Rockingham, North Carolina before the Winston Select Invitational. But this was Kenny Bernstein during qualifying alongside Mike Smith. Watch Bernstein. Oh, buddy, he got that one just in time, and still did some damage to the A-arms and the front wheels of the automobile.
I'm upset with myself because it was going up, and I stuck with it a taste too long. I shouldn't have done that, but, you know, you keep thinking it's going to stick and hold there and keep on going like it did over in Phoenix, and you got a heck of a run. But
You try to use those front wheels kind of like rudders.
yeah, I was using everything I had. I was going to put my hands out, my feet out if that helped right then, but it was just too much, too far gone. It's a shame. It was getting ready to run pretty good. We just need to calm her down the front.
Hey, that would have looked cool on the tape. Hands and feet out. Neat. Maybe he'll try it next year. Blaine Johnson, Larry Dixon in the final. Blaine Johnson, the Travers Tool car, too much. For Larry Dixon and Don Prudhomme, 477 for the win for Blaine Johnson.
Well, Jesse James, you came here to rob the bank, and you definitely have done that.
Oh, boy. It was a great weekend. Everything seemed to go our way all weekend, and no problems. I mean, no big problems, Alan. There's nothing we couldn't work around. But, you know, Alan makes some serious horsepower, and these guys are in trouble if this thing continues to run like it is. We found a few things this weekend. It's going to be a consistent sucker.
Nice lap, Holmes.
Thanks.
Consistent sucker must be one of those driver terms there. We went to the Atlanta race, the Fram Nationals. Kenny Bernstein and Joe Amato were golfing on Sunday, Steve. Neither one qualified.
Yeah, amazing. Far lane is Mike Dunn. Near lane is Scott Coletta, round number one. Coletta rebuilt from Gainesville, but it's done with a 483, and Scott's season, little did he know, was to take a nasty turn.
The finals at Atlanta, folks. Just sit, watch, and enjoy. What a driving job by Dixon.
I went up into a wheel stand, and I said, damn, what am I going to do? And then got out of the throttle, and I got back in it and went back up again, and I saw him. He was on fire. I'm like, damn, I think I can win this race. So I went after him, and, you know, what can I say? Snake and Miller and Pontiac and GMC.
Even Don Prudhomme said, I'd have given up after the wheel stand. Right, Snake. I remember when. Blaine Johnson continued with the points lead. Kenny Bernstein right on his tail as the Snakes crew celebrated a win.
Into the Pennzoil Nationals, the Western Auto Parts America car. That is Shelly Anderson aboard against the Travers Tool car. Blaine Johnson appeared to have the quicker car, but throws the fuel line off, and Shelly Anderson gets the win. 5 flat, 279. You wouldn't figure that'd be good enough to beat Blaine, but on this run and this day, it was.
And if you think 5 flat was the best that Shelly Anderson could muster, watch this in the final round against Scott Coletta. Coletta foiling the tire. Shelly Anderson comes up with a 477, a nice number at 298 miles an hour to win her first race of 96.
That big final round showing by Scott moves him into the number 2 spot. He leapfrogged KB, and he's just points behind Blaine Johnson.
Englishtown, New Jersey, the Mopar Parts National. Shelly Anderson for Western Auto up against Larry Dixon. Remember his win from Atlanta.
Big numbers by the two of them. Dixon runs 481, Shelly 484, but she is out of here. Dixon loves this racetrack. He ran in the 60s a year ago.
And was a formidable adversary for Joe Amato in the final. Amato considers this his home racetrack, and he won it. The crowd went wild. Can I say that too? Amato won it with a 478 and 301. Jimmy Brock, you got it. You the man.
It's amazing. Amato shut out in 1995, the 5-time Winston champ, his first win in more than a year and a half.
And that put Dixon number 2 in the points.
And we go to the Pontiac Excitement Nationals. It's KB on the far lane. It's Shelly Anderson to the near lane. You're going to watch one of the quickest runs ever was.
This was the first weekend that was ultimately rained out. It was cool and nice. So cool. Kenny Bernstein whips up a record 460. It could be the third time he set the national record for a total of 60 bonus points, but the following weekend turned hot, humid, no chance.
Bernstein did everything but win. Number one qualifier, low ET, top speed, not around in the finals. Corey McClanathan against Scott Collette in this semifinal. Corey Mack gets the win with an 88, 300 miles an hour in the finals. Hey, here's that kid again.
Corey McClanathan, far lane. Larry Dixon wanting to keep the wheels on the ground. He had the chassis balanced perfectly, but not enough power. Problems mid-course. Corey Mack wins. 481, 306 miles an hour. To the victor go the spoils. Corey Mack, they're special when you haven't won one in, what, over a year?
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been struggling. Brand new car, first race out, win a race. I mean, I need to thank Joe and all those guys. I mean, they had enough faith in us to realize we wanted to go to a different race car. It worked out great.
Johnson, Dixon, Scott, Corey, Kenny. There's the heavy hitters all bunched up at the top of the fuel ranks.
Who could have believed that Kenny Bernstein would have slid all the way to number 5? That DNQ just killed him in Atlanta.
Semifinals next stop, Pennzoil Nationals, Memphis, Tennessee, and watch these two guys, Bernstein and Amato. Bernstein needs to win to move up in the points. No, Joe Amato straps the 78 on him. 3:03 to go to the championship run against Mike Dunn.
Amato and Dunn in the finals, as you said, Bob, and Dunn is hoping for better results than the last time he saw the finals in Atlanta when the engine exploded. You remember Larry Dixon? The big wheel stand. It was a thrilling final for all of us, but Mike Dunn didn't much care for it.
Mike Dunn qualified 5th here, and he's been winning ugly, but right here, Joe Amato must have been thinking about golfing. He got tattooed on the starting line, and Mike Dunn wins it.
We stepped it up a little bit for this round, and we were getting a little bit loose out there, and we decided, well, if it gets loose, we'll try and grab the brake, and I grabbed it pretty hard, hung on because it started to get a little bit loose, and it recovered and went down through there, and luckily it was enough to get the win. But we're happy. Our Goodyear tires, they did a great job. They stuck today, and this Mopar Performance came home a winner. We're happy.
Mikey won that one on his own. Dixon remained in second. Scott Colletta, a tenacious third. Bernstein now back up to 4th. Joe Amato rounded out the top 5. A pensive Mike Dunn thinking, oh, it could have been the other way. Our first trip to Topeka in '96, Bob Fry. Joe Amato, about 2 pair before this run by Blaine Johnson, was the first into the 450s with a 459. As Amato was still celebrating in the pits, Blaine whips up an all-time number, the quickest ever, 4.592. I believe I hear the crowd going wild.
They are going wild, and Blaine Johnson up the return road. Joe Amato was back in the pit area, and all of a sudden all the cameras and lights went off and everybody started running to this team. Brother Allen now puts Blaine on the starting line. They would love to back up the record, get some of those valuable Winston points. Gordy Bonin, one of those Canadians we talked about earlier, out of here. Blaine Johnson right down Broadway, 462, backs it up, a new record. That is the baddest car on the planet.
Elapsed time-wise, but watch Scott Colletta. The numbers just keep on coming in qualifying at Topeka. Doug Foxworth in the near lane ran a 488, didn't even qualify. Scott Colletta runs a 463, but look at the speed. 315 miles an hour, the all-time best.
That would set up a pretty good old drag race between Bernstein and Colletta. A lot of smoke off KB's car. He looked like the car to beat this weekend, but he wasn't. Scott Colletta is the 2-time champ, finally back in the winner's circle.
My guys did a heck of a job, and I can't say enough about them.
Great job for you and your family and all your crew. 315 miles an hour, the world's fastest drag racer.
He and his father probably have planes that don't go that fast. They have some that go a lot faster. Blaine, Scott, Kenny, Larry, Joey, your top 5.
Scott Colletta starting to smell a 3rd consecutive championship as we move to Thunder Mountain. Vandermeer Speedway, semifinals. Eddie Hill, the Pennzoil car versus Larry Dixon. Dixon smokes the cars, trying to pedal it. It is too late. Eddie Hill into the final round at 493, 287. Good numbers for the Mountain.
And if Eddie wants to become the oldest national event winner in the pro categories, hey, he's over 60. I don't write him, I just read him. All he'd have to do would be to take out the aforementioned Blaine Johnson, the new look Travers tool car. Out of the gate, Blaine, he too strikes the tires. Eddie Hill gets the win.
Well, I think the Lord was with us today, and thanks for Pennzoil for hanging with us through all these lean times like that. But we're having a great time again, and maybe we're back where we need to be for a while.
And pulled a 484 out of the hat for the final.
484. Wow, hooray for our side. Well, I'm loving it. Thank you, boss.
Congrats.
I thought he was going to say, are you kidding me? They always ask you that.
I know, as if I would kid about things like that. Am I not trustworthy? Every time Ursi come down, he always asks her, what'd I run? I already told him, he doesn't believe me. All right, let's slide on down the mountain to Sonoma, California. Kenny Bernstein getting desperate now for Winston points up against Bruce Sarver, the rookie, the CarQuest car on the far side. Sonoma, now more highly regarded than it was before, as Bernstein rips a 466 at 309.
Let's credit Bruce Sarver, by the way, one of the great rookie seasons in Top Fuel. Did a great job. Final, Bernstein, Blaine. Bernstein needs the win to keep pace with the Travers Tool car. He would not get it. Blaine throws a 467, 306, leaves Sonoma with the biggest lead of the season in Top Fuel points. Also picks up his third win of the year, the first driver to do it. Bernstein did salvage the top speed, almost 316 fast miles an hour.
Celebrate, Blaine.
Looking for that Winston Championship, and he is out in front by a bunch.
And he hoped to extend that points lead when he got to Seattle. But here's a rather interesting ride for Andy Woods. Watch the Montana Express car over there on the right-hand side. A classic example of what can happen when you lose downforce from that rear wing. He was alongside Shelly Anderson. This was round 2 action. Woods had it won. The wing laid down and bad things happened.
Good things, too. The car held up perfectly. He was fine. Oh, do you need a front wheel? Watch. Stage left.
There it comes with a mind of its own. The safety safari got it cleaned up and loaded up, and NHRA's tech crew instantly looked at
Thing that would maybe
bring about a new rule or make for stronger safety. Dedicated to safety, that's been the motto since '55, and it still is.
Dedicated to beating Mike Dunn. That's Shelly Anderson's motto. Watch Dunn's car in the far lane. Couple of wheelies. Gets beat by a couple of wheelies. At the top end, Shelly, 466.
Larry Meyer said he'd run quick. We had clutch problems the first 2 runs, and he found it last night, and we really liked that rain, and quickest run of my life.
It was indeed a career best. Kenny Bernstein, now we're back up into second place, pushing Scott Coletta, Larry Dixon, and correct down 1. Shelly had never run quick as 466. She had also never experienced what you're about to see. This is Brainerd, Minnesota. Shelly alongside Jim Head. One nasty blowover destroyed that brand new car, but Shelly was so calm.
It started to shake, and I pedaled it, and it rehooked. It really rehooked, and it went over backwards. The car's junk, but we've got a brand new spare one we brought here for Indy, and the guys will work real hard, and they'll get it ready for tomorrow.
Wow, that was nasty. Semifinals, it's the big boys. The Travers Tool car, Blaine Johnson, Kenny Bernstein. Bernstein looking to move up in the points. This is a very pivotal race, and almost 2-in-1 race. Blaine brings it back down. Bernstein gets the win with a brilliant 462. The Bud King looking for his 4th win here at this racetrack. A couple in funny car, couple in Top Fuel, and that's the way to do it. Just throw those big numbers up on the board, and Blaine Johnson's car came down hard.
Well, it's been carrying the front end all weekend. You know, we just never really got under control of it, and we hopped it up for that run, and we forgot we didn't put the weight in the front. That was not a good move.
A little too much clutch and not enough weight on the front end.
Yeah, I think we would give him a real good race.
Hated to lose to Kenny Bernstein.
Well, the final saw KB, the king of speed, up against Eddie Hill. Hill smoked the tires. Bernstein down-tuned the car to a conservative 473 at 302 miles an hour to try to take the momentum into Indianapolis. Blaine Johnson came to Indy, the points leader, 11:23 to 10:10. We couldn't have known, amidst the gaiety and celebration at Brainerd, what we would all go through in just 2 weeks at the U.S. Nationals. This was Blaine Johnson's final ever ride. And fittingly, it was the quickest in U.S. Nationals history.
Blaine died from the injury suffered in that run, but his spirit lives on forever, and the outpouring of love and compassion from the racing community and returned by the Johnson family is something that nobody in this sport will ever forget.
They gave us strength throughout the weekend. In round number one, Tony Schumacher would have raced Blaine. Tony did the drag racing version of a missing man formation as he idled down the racetrack. Little did Tony know that he would make it all the way to the final round in his first ever Top Fuel event. But his luck ran out against Corey McClanahan, who won his second race of the year with a 473.
And I'll tell you what, when I get up there and get that trophy, it's going to Alan Johnson. Blaine, we love you, buddy.
And our prayers and best wishes continue to go to the Johnson family.
Well, from the cheers and tears of Indianapolis, it was a bit of a relief for all of us, including especially maybe Corey McClanahan, to get to beautiful Maple Grove.
The semifinals would put Kenny Bernstein now with that Winston Championship in sight. The racing season did go on against Larry Dixon in the semis. Bernstein winning ugly. He goes 591 at 147 miles an hour, but he got the win light, and that was all important to the Bud King.
Bernstein was determined, if he was to win the championship, to do it with authority, the way Blaine Johnson would have. He didn't want any more lucky breaks. He didn't get one either against Connie Coletta. Bernstein, 467, 305.
Well, again, our hearts are sad, heavy for Blaine. We're doing it for him. He's the angel up above right now watching over us, and I can't help but think he looked at us a little today and gave us a little help.
Great champion and a great man, Kenny Bernstein.
Gave him a little help. He moved into the points lead. He ran 450s that weekend. A great performance by Kenny Bernstein, but still remembering the fallen champion. To the Sears Craftsman Nationals. There's that Bud King again against Mike Dunn, who just won't go away. Mike looking to go into the finals for the fourth time this year. Could he do it? Nope. Blows a lot of stuff up right there. The Bud King gets the win. Mike Dunn would be okay. He is one great driver, and he brings his car to a safe halt at the end of the racetrack.
But who would have thought in the final round we would be seeing Jim Head with Alan Johnson, Blaine's brother, wrenching the car against Kenny Bernstein. Bernstein backpedaled it when he hit the throttle straight up in the air, and Jim Head won his first ever NHRA National Top Fuel event.
He hadn't won any event in 11 years. Bernstein brought it back down to earth, but continues to pull away in the battle for the Winston Championships. Jim Head and Alan Johnson, a very emotional moment at Heartland Park.
I got to tell you, at the Chief Nationals, Shelley Anderson in qualifying just ripped this place apart. Especially on this one. The fastest speed ever, 316 miles an hour, eclipsing Scott Coletta's 315.
She made 4 qualifying runs, as good as any 4 runs we've seen a Top Fuel car put together ever. Kenny Bernstein now in qualifying, trying to keep pace with the leaders. He would be the leader, 460. How about grabbing that top speed mark back? Over 318 miles an hour. Oh, baby.
And Kenny does love to be the king of speed. This is round number 1. Dale Armstrong backing up Kenny. He will race the Texas car of Doug Foxworth.
All the numbers on the scoreboard point to a Kenny Bernstein win. The only number he's concerned about is in the points column. If he won this round, he would clinch the Winston Top Fuel Championship. and he would do just that in typical dominating Bernstein style.
We wanted authority the last 4 or 5 races. Everybody knows that we did it in Blaine's honor, and that's the way he would have done it. And I feel that that's the way we went after it, as hard as this thing would go.
Well said.
Thank you, man. Thanks, guys. All right.
Kenny did not get to the final round. He had won the Winston Championship, but it'd be Corey Mack. It'd be Scott Colletta. It'd be a lot of tire smoke. It'd be Corey Mack.
For the third time in 1996 with a Ford 74 at 301 miles an hour. For Bernstein, it didn't matter about points, but for Corey Mack, Larry Dixon, and Scott Colletta, it did. Look at that, for a lot of Winston season in money. Kenny Bernstein, the only driver to ever win the Winston Championship in Top Fuel and Funny Car. On to Pomona.
It's the finals, the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic, Saturday at Pomona in the Winston Select Finals. Corey Mack against Scott Colletta. It's been a long year for Scott. It would get a bit shorter right here as he takes out Corey Mack and wins a lot of money from Budweiser.
$100,000 plus NHRA posted a bonus of another $50 if you could double up and win on Sunday. And this was the final round. Scott Colletta, Joe Amato. Whoa, what a drag race. But Amato picked his pocket for the 50 with a 466 at 312. Just find the nearest good Italian restaurant. Joe Amato will be there.
What a winner we're going to have, Steve. We're going to have a big party tonight.
He's going to go out and mange a little. Maybe not as much as Kenny Bernstein, your Winston champ. Scott sneaks into the 2 slot. Corey, Larry Dixon, and Blaine. And there are the rest of the top 10. Congrats to all for 96.
Dave Schultz, congratulations. You've won your 6th Pro Stock Bike title. John Force, likewise. The Big 6. No one's ever done it before. To Jim Yates, it's got to feel good to win that first one. Kenny Bernstein, you love history. You made some in 96. And to Leslie Lovett and Blaine Johnson, may your legend never fade.
Want the best seat in the house for the hottest motorsports action? Then choose from over 40 spectacular titles in the Diamond P Motorsports Action Catalog. No collection is complete without the hottest selling action video series available anywhere, and They Walked Away. In all 4 And They Walked Away videos, you'll thrill to the awesome power of top fuel dragsters and funny cars unleashed and out of control. The chills and spills of motorcycles, speeding stock cars, and high-flying monster truck mayhem. You'll jump out of your chair with the nerve-tingling adventure of unlimited hydroplane racing included in Atla 4. And in each bone-jarring incident, the driver walked away. Drag racing fans will recapture all the exciting moments of the season in Diamond P's Drag Racing Yearly Review. Relive each year of the Blazing Straightliners from Drag 86 through Drag 95 as NHRA's top drivers compete for the